just take my hand and let's change what we see now. Can you see I'm a chooser? I just choose what is right, I don't hurt nobody. I'm a winner, not a loser. It's a choice, my friend, don't be afraid now.
Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary.
Today on One, Justice Ministry to implement National Sexual Offenders Register. MTC awards students with bursaries worth over $500,000 Namibia. Menstrual health and hygiene management critical in education. And under 20 starlets to join senior squad camp for AFCON qualifiers.
A motion on the National Sexual Offenders Registry was recently tabled in the National Assembly, which the Ministry of Justice has taken to implement by March 2022. Along with the motion was the tabling of amendments to the Rape Act of 2000 by the Justice Minister Yvonne Dausab. The Minister of Justice Yvonne Dausab noted that the National Sexual Offenders Register is intended to monitor and track those convicted of sexual crimes. She also added that her ministry still has to finalize the kind of information to be provided in the register, the institutions that will be responsible for managing the register, and how public it will be made so as to protect people from sexual offenders and at the same time prevent mob justice against perpetrators listed on the register.
The intention of the Sexual Offenders Register is to deter people from repeating a particular crime, particularly a crime that relates to sexual offenses. It is also intended to discourage would-be offenders, people who may have thought about committing a sexual crime, from doing it. Because in a way, the register is going to be made public, and you will be restricted, for example, from where you're going to apply for a job. You may be restricted about what kinds of environments you're going to be working in. Typically, the register exposes people to risk. Remember, the kind of information that is provided in the register, it is the name of the person, it is what they've been convicted of, for example, it's their ID numbers. It could even include, physical addresses and those kinds of things. But these are things that we have not yet finalized.
Dilokerwan Tengwe, an advocate for the marginalized groups who was also at the forefront of the hashtag Shut It All Down protests, which had initially called for the register, notes that it has been long overdue, asking that once implemented, the public should be well informed on the categories and criteria under which someone is a sex offender.
Often we find that sex offenders, sexual assaulters, can easily reintegrate themselves into society, especially men who are majority perpetrators of these acts and crimes, right? And that goes to show that they do not experience reputational harm or backlash, and therefore they are able to reintegrate themselves into society, because our society is largely a gatekeeping society, and that is why it is easier to hide, right? And so in its effectiveness, it must address the ways that can be sort of stopped, because if we look at, for example, a medical doctor that was now convicted of this specific crime and they are stripped of their license, it should be that they should not at all ever get the chance to practice medicine again, firstly, but also that they can't reintegrate themselves anywhere else in society, because you'll find that same medical doctor may be going to work as an MD at some other company. It does not make any sense.
On the amendment tabled in the National Assembly to the Combating of Rape Act of 2000, the Justice Minister mentioned that the minimum sentence for persons convicted of rape has been increased, while the protection mechanisms has been strengthened for when sexual violence has taken place against vulnerable persons, such as those with disabilities.
This is linked to Section 3 of the current Act, which provides for penalties. And what we've done is in each term, we have added 5 years. So where, for example, on a first conviction, you'd be sentenced to 5 years, we've increased that to 10. Where there was 10, we would increase it to 15, and so the amendment goes on about the minimum sentences. Of course, there's a bit of a challenge because you don't also want to tie the judiciary, who's an independent body, to minimum sentences. But I think it gives the court some kind of guideline of what the expectation is of the law in how we should respond when people are accused of sexual violence.
Once implemented by March 2022, Namibia will join countries such as South Africa, the United States and Germany, amongst others, with a national sexual offenders register.
Mobile Telecommunications (MTC) awarded 7 local students from different tertiary institutions with bursaries worth over 500,000 Namibia dollars. The allowance, according to MTC, is a means to reduce the financial burden tertiary students face. It's no secret that the current economic climate has many tertiary students struggling to pay tuition fees. Some even quit due to a lack of funding. Through its bursary scheme, MTC hopes to reduce the financial load the students face.
I'm from Okongo, Hangwena region. I'm a first-year registered student at the University of Namibia, pursuing my degree in computer sciences. I'm very happy to have this bursary from MTC. Whenever I see the name MTC, I just turn myself into a proud Namibian. I'm so thankful, and I have no words to add for this privilege.
I'm very delighted to have this bursary, as it's a source of fund to those who are disadvantaged, and if I would say, that's why I came to apply for this bursary. Though I was fortunately one of the students that got the bursary.
Most people would agree that a university degree does not necessarily guarantee a place in the job market, especially in this current economic climate. MTC is therefore planning to absorb the bursary recipients once they have graduated.
We don't just want to take 1,000 students and then they go out there without any jobs. If you look at, I think we've managed to absorb at least 97% of students that we are giving bursaries into the organization. And we give them decent jobs and good salaries in the hope that they go and break the cycle of poverty in their own families and that they become great leaders in their own rights. And that is why we want you guys to join us.
The amount will be divided amongst the recipients, with each student also receiving a cool backpack containing necessary educational tools to help kickstart their tertiary journey.
Get uncapped internet from as little as $500 Namibian a month. Contact us now or find us on Facebook. Whitel, your internet service provider.
At a recent ceremony where the Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia handed over sanitary essentials to the Education Ministry for the benefit of more than 700 girls at various identified schools across the country, the Deputy Education Minister emphasized on the importance of mainstreaming menstrual health and hygiene management in the school curriculum. the Deputy Minister for Education expressed the importance of including health and hygiene management as an essential component of the school curriculum.
To speak about hygiene, for example, in the curriculum of the school, I'm a teacher by profession and I'm a life skill teacher at a time, and we don't work our curriculum in isolation. As you observe currently, even with COVID-19, that we are working hand in hand with the Ministry of Health, because we have to work together, especially when it comes to hygiene. It's not something new. It is also, you find it also within our curriculum. And for girls, it is very, very important. The time we are talking about when the girl have a period, so hygiene is very, very important. The way you are treating COVID, will link to hygiene. Is how we link hygiene to the time of the period for the girl.
Edda Bon, the Deputy Executive Director at the Education Ministry, says that Namibia's school curriculum from the early childhood development phases to senior secondary level encompasses comprehensive and age-appropriate health and hygiene management lessons for all learners.
So in every age bracket, there's age-appropriate health and hygiene information included in the curriculum. So it is thoroughly integrated as from the very early stages. There is environmental science and health education. So when it comes to hand washing, brushing of teeth, and so on, with the very little ones already we start off. And we do liaise also with Ministry of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare regarding what the ECD children have to learn, and then pre-primary, grade 1, 2, and 3. So we work together, of course also informed by the Ministry of Health and Social Services, as our Deputy Minister said. We have an integrated school health policy, and with that school health policy we have a national school health task force, but we also have regional school health task forces. And as we have these national structures and regional structures, they are duplicated again in the circuits and the schools. So the responsibility from, at the ministerial level, our education officers, we have deputy directors here from programs and quality assurance, a pivotal directorate together with a National Institute for Educational Development. That's where the curriculum is crafted. But even there, stakeholders are involved. So it is a collaborative effort. And then most of all, it is age appropriate at every level. Health and hygiene is incorporated. And when it comes to, sexual reproduction as well as reproductive health, that is also integrated in the curriculum at the appropriate age.
According to UNICEF, teaching the girl child about menstruation before she has her first period is the best way to make sure she knows what will happen, explain why she should not be scared, and most importantly, to ensure that she keeps attending school.
The Brave Warriors interim head coach recently called up a 36-man provisional squad to join the camp for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations qualifier games. The Warriors are drawn in Group A with Guinea, Chad and Mali. A happy Bobby Samaria called up 3 of the young Warriors starlets who impressed at the COSAFA Cup in 2020 as well as in the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations earlier this year.
As a nation, we need to always have a vision of looking forward. Now, Kanji is a left-footed player playing left back. I think he did very well. So did Steven Damaset Jr. and French Ueda. Now, playing for the junior national team, you need to have a pass. And obviously, going to the under-20s and then the senior national team is the path of any footballer. As young as they are, I think they have shown their mettle. But them being ready for the senior national team to play is a different story. We know the players now. It's for us now to bring them aboard, to try and train with the bigger boys and see how they will gel with the senior national team. And we hope this time around, of course, we have our professional players, the Shad Villiers, the Dion Hottles, who are doing great for their clubs. They will bring that form over to the motherland. Players are playing with their respective clubs, and they will only be released closer to the time. We expect a full complement of players only on the 21st of March. We are leaving on the 22nd, so bringing in a friendly game is practically impossible.
Despite having a mountain to climb in the upcoming matches, Samaria is confident to bettering his team's play performance going into the matches, after failing to win a game at the Jan 2020 games that saw them fall out of the competition in the group stages.
Now, of course, our game against Chad is vital, and for them it's equally important, the game that they are playing against one another. The unfortunate thing is now the last game that the two nations played one another, that is now Mali and Guinea, they played to a 2-2 draw. So this time Guinea will have the home ground advantage. All they need is a point, all right? Because even in the event that we win both our games, head-to-head, we lose because we lost to Guinea. Of late, the team did not do well. At our last outing on the field was during Chan, and I'm sure you are referring to the performance of the Brave Warriors at Chan. Taking into account the sequence of those events, you would agree with me that the team has progressed, that the team has improved from a 3-0 to a 1-0 and to a 0-0. Now going into the tournament itself, sadly, we did not play competitive international games, friendly games, and it was very evident that what we lacked was game time.
The Brave Warriors are currently third with only one victory in 4 games and will face Chad away on the 21st of March and then face Guinea at home on the 28th of March in their 2 final Group A matches for the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier games, with the hopes to qualify for the tournament showpiece in Cameroon. The selection is as follows.
The Namibia Statistics Agency is busy with census mapping, a preface for the main population and housing census to be conducted in 2021. Census mapping aims to demarcate the entire Namibia into uniquely defined units of enumeration areas to provide an accurate national geographic frame to conduct census. To find out more, tune in to Conversations with the NSA on Sunday the 14th of March from 4:30 to 5:30 on One Africa TV. Play your part, be counted.
In other leading stories, the Central Bank recently awarded bursaries to 11 grade 12 now undergraduate students. The beneficiaries are studying in various disciplines ranging from actuarial science, cybersecurity, financial mathematics, chartered accounting, computer science, and education specializing in math and science. Officiating at the annual ceremony, the governor of the Bank of Namibia, Johannes Kabachab, stated that the bank believes in an inclusive approach to identifying the potential of promising youths and assisting them to transform their lives and become productive and successful citizens. Kabachab further encouraged students to dedicate themselves in order to successfully complete their studies, stating that they expect nothing less than hard work, dedication, and commitment towards their studies. The Bank of Namibia's bursary scheme also includes recipients from marginalized communities so as to allow them an equal opportunity to participate meaningfully as citizens of Namibia and to contribute to plowing back and uplifting their communities out of dire circumstances and poverty. To date, the bank has availed 112 undergraduate bursaries to students who have completed their studies and are now making the bank proud as they have taken up prominent professional and leadership positions within the Bank of Namibia and in other sectors of the economy. Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages.
Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security Minister Frans Kapofi recently expressed his disappointment with the behavior of citizens for failing to adhere to the regulations aimed at curbing the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Kapofi went on Operation Saturday Night to observe public compliance. Ndamonongena said non-adherence is a problem amongst people. She further said COVID-19 is not a joke as it kills. Mieta said the law enforcement should visit the town of Arandis. Jonas said the police should use more force against those that are not adhering. DJ Chalo does not agree with the views of assaulting people and asked who takes on the law enforcement when they break the law. Airlink, the privately owned regional airline, has commenced with a new direct service between Cape Town and Walvis Bay, scheduled for Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. The new route, which started on the 2nd of March 2021, is Airlink's fourth between South Africa and Namibia, with other services linking Cape Town and Windhoek, in addition to flights from Johannesburg to Windhoek and Walvis Bay. Alfred said it seems West Air has been waiting on the liquidation of the national airline to take over most routes. Quinton asked how he will explain to his kids that a state-owned company failed while a small airline prospered in the same industry. Thomas said private airlines are moving in and taking over the market.
And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
Insurance doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. It doesn't have to be a hassle or put a dent in your budget. The right insurer will get you financially prepared for accidents or emergencies with insurance for your phone, car, buildings, or your business. Let the Good Deal Namibia help you stretch your dollar by directing you to the one insurer that promises decreased premiums the longer you're insured. For a quote, simply SMS INSURE to 555 and we will call you back.
A look at the weather forecast. The interior sunny and hot in the south, elsewhere partly cloudy and hot with mist in places in the north during the morning, but a few thunder showers in the afternoon. The coast partly cloudy and cool to warm with fog patches. The wind light to fresh southwesterly. And now a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures around the country and beyond.
My name is Maxine Rabe and I am the marketing manager at Safland and at Kwashamba Mall. We are extremely thankful to the GIPF for their initial investment of 139 million Namibian dollars to help us to create this amazing platform in the community of Ndangwa and the surrounding areas. This has really helped us to establish a place from which we can help people in many different ways. And I really believe that it has contributed to the community in Ndangwa and surrounding areas tremendously. And without this, people would not have a place to go. They wouldn't have a place to feel safe. They wouldn't have a place where they know that they will be helped, and they know that we are always there to take their hands in any venture possible.
My name is Anna Johannes and I am the Assistant Marketing Manager for the Kwashamba Mall. I started here two years back and my main duties is to deal with the tenants, the different types of tenants. So I normally do site visits every week and to make sure that the mall is up to date. Signages are in good condition, the mall is clean and the tenants are well kept. I also communicate with the community, mainly with different schools and hospitals, just to find out their needs. So if we ask them like for a list of items or number of things that they need to be done, then they give me the list and then we can try and find out like on how we can go around that and just do a donation to them.
We're very grateful for the GIPF's initial investment of 139 million Namibia dollars for the development of the center, as well as for their continued support for the maintenance and upkeep of the center. It's very important for us to secure the right tenants for the mall to cater to the needs of the people in Ndangwa. It's also very important for us to involve independent retailers in the center, as they are supporting local business people is well at the core of what we try to do.
Untuk etumba nombili kwa sinti nilonga hapa haipandura kalunga na ipandura hona banga bapa nilonga opondi dire kwa fela family yange o bakulunu bange ndenge dange nonda bange utalo lange o ipandura unene ko yema hima mapa antilo ngifanga sokufutira unambo skola kwa fela tatena menyo ko beli natango na akulu bange abatatu takumwe kwa fokuja kwa abesaidiro kwa kwa.
I'm Lauren Isaacs.
I'm the store manager at 88 at Kwashamba Mall, and we have been running this business for 6 years now. And the most good thing about Kwashamba Mall is the customers is always coming to the mall, and then they're having also promotions which is also attracting the customers to the mall. By the end of month, there are also things that Kwashamba Mall is offering us to have the sidewalk tables, the ones we are putting outside to promote our stock. The income and the profit that we are making at the mall is due to the attraction of the mall.
My name is Alma Mandela, and I'm the store manager here at Kwashamba Mall at Shoe City.